I was one of them addicts that always thought that I would never overdose, that it wasn't possible. Just to be honest, there was times where I've attempted to because I was tired of my addiction. I ended up going through a guy and did nowhere near the amount that I was used to doing. It was a small fraction of it. And I fell out and I woke up to a friend of mine giving me CPR in the driver's seat of my car because he said that I had stopped breathing, was turning purple and blue, and I was going into convulsions, seizures. And I don't really remember it, like falling out or anything like that. Like, you really don't remember it. It's vaguely do I remember even coming back. It's just kind of what he's told me because he had to drive back to our neighborhood and everything like that, and I didn't remember it. It's just kind of like a black spot. My girlfriend, it was probably her second or third time shooting up, and she had got more than what she should have, and we were on our way back to the house after it happened, and on the way, or getting on the expressway, I looked over at her and she had turned purple and blue, wasn't breathing, and didn't have a heartbeat. She started having seizures after seizures and still wasn't breathing. I was calling 911, I was on the phone with the ambulance, driving as fast as I could on the expressway to try to get her to St. B's because that was the closest hospital. And it was terrifying. It was probably the most traumatizing thing that I've witnessed personally in front of me. The lifelessness in her body, the stiffness, the gasping for air, it's very intense. It's like something you would have seen out of a movie. Luckily, right before we got to St. B's, I don't know how it happened because she was literally purple and blue, not breathing. They're just pretty much lifeless. But right before I got to St. B's, she actually ended up waking up and wasn't fully coherent because of what had just happened. But she begged me not to take her to the hospital, even though I should have. And we pulled down a side street. She got out, walked around, kind of got herself back together, and luckily ended up living from it. Because I honestly didn't think she was coming back. Like to me, it looked like she had died, and it was just the most scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. There's no words that can really explain the way you feel when you see that happen. It's one thing to see somebody die quickly in front of you or get shot, but to literally sit there and watch somebody gasp for air like they're drowning, and the noises that comes out of their mouth, I don't know any other words to explain it besides terrifying. Nothing I've seen has scared me as much as that. When I was 15, my freshman year of high school, I ended up getting into a fight with a friend and ended up getting my jaw broken 2 separate places and had to get my mouth wired shut and have reconstruction surgery on my jaw. I had, at the time in Ohio, there was a lot of pain pills being overprescribed, and I was one of those people. First time I took the Percocet, I realized that I liked that kind of high, that feeling, and ended up abusing them. Later on in life, knowing that I still liked that high, I had some stuff happen with my family, and I was torn apart, and started using the Percocets to ease the pain and help me sleep at night, and got introduced to heroin because it's another opiate that's pretty much the same thing, just it's not prescribed to you by a doctor, and it was cheaper and it was a better high. It was the same high but more intense, and one thing led to another, and I became a full-blown heroin addict within the first month of using it. And it took everything from me. Everything I had, nice stuff before that happened, and everything nice that I had that could go to a pawn shop or to a drug dealer to get drugs, to get money to get drugs, went out the window without a thought. And Probably about after the first 6 to 7 months is when I tried to get clean. I went to an outpatient program for Suboxone. And at the time, I didn't really know too much about Suboxone and methadone like that. I just know that it knew it would keep me from being sick. I ended up finding out for me it didn't really work because I was still putting an opiate in my body. So when I wanted to stop taking Suboxone because I thought I was ready to, I was still getting sick. I ended up switching from snorting the heroin to shooting up. And it's kind of a new love when you start to do that because it's a different kind of high. So I kind of fell in love with it all over again. It wasn't ready to quit yet. And just kind of went to the place to get the Suboxone to sell them on the streets to get money to buy heroin. And then after doing that for probably about another 6 months or so, is when I went into the hospital in February to get clean. And went to the recovery house and actually went cold turkey. When I went cold turkey, I feel like they actually were recovering. I was able to laugh. I was actually able to get back into stuff that I was into when I was a kid, like sports and just regular life stuff, being a regular human being. And that's when I realized that was the best way for me to go. So every time that I've attempted to get clean since then, the 2 other times, it's been cold turkey. Because personally for me, I feel like that's the best thing for me to do.